Good evening, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the casual comic guy here.
Yes,
And joining me, as every Tuesday night, we got my good buddy, Steve the Voice White, who's holding it down in Canada. And Steve and I are the lucky recipients of barely any snow while everybody else is getting pounded. And Steve, that's what they get.
That's what they get.
That's what they get.
That's for sure.
You hear that, Mark? That's what you get. You live up way up there north of 7.
And of course, we have an extra co-host tonight. You may know him. He's been on the channel a lot. He's almost just sworn in member of the usual suspects here. We have Cliff on Comics. Cliff, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm great, and I love all this Canadian energy we have tonight. Since
Nice.
Steve's Canadian, I'm half Canadian. Ronaldo's half Canadian.
I am also half
Ronaldo
Canadian,
and I are both half Puerto Rican, so we're just bridging nations.
That's
Nice.
fantastic.
Well, I feel as the only full-blooded American, I got to hold the show down.
There you go.
And of course, our guest of honor tonight, none other, making his debut on the 1011,
Yeah.
Reinaldo from the Council of Comics. Reinaldo, great to meet you, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I was saying to Sam earlier, I'm like, I guess I got to make sure I set the standard. You'll invite us back.
Oh, it's a foregone conclusion.
Good,
Once you're on the
good.
show, you're not allowed to leave for long. Ask Cliff. I keep dragging him back too.
Oh, and giving out homework assignments too.
And-
Love that.
I watched the last one with the movie ones today at work. I was sitting there listening to that while I was at work. So
Did you like it?
It was a fun show. Yeah, there were some picks in that I was not expecting. I'll say that.
Right, and then Steve was on a couple times, and then I just made him into a co-host, and now he's stuck here.
I'm
till-
here. I'm here
pretty
forever.
much till he dies.
Yep.
Right
I've
on.
been shackled to the channel. I got this chain around my ankle.
You know, the witch was worth the money. She got you good.
Clearly.
Now, Ronaldo, as I like to do in these shows, we're going to start out by you giving the audience a quick 2-minute rundown, who you are, what the channel's about, where people can find you, and what it is you enjoy. We'll go say hi to the audience, then we're going to come back to you and start off with your first book.
Okay. So I'm, you know me through Cliff, I guess. I'm my nickname's Green Shirt Guy. I can tell you that story if you want at some point. I think I kind of mentioned beforehand. I'm one of the members of the Council of Comics with Cliff and Sam and Phil and C Bizzle and so forth. All my information, if you want to get a hold of me, I'm the artist guy in the group. So that's me in 2 minutes, I guess.
Nice. And I do have your IG link and the Council of Comics YouTube channel link in the description below for anyone that is looking to follow him on IG and sub up the Council of Comics, where you'll meet a lot of great personalities, and Cliff's there too.
And Cliff's
Oh no. I'm the new one.
Holy crap. Pow, pow. Hey, man, don't mess with my half
That was,
Canadian
that, was
brother.
for, that was for Ronaldo's benefit.
Not cool.
All right, let's say hi to everyone in the chat tonight. And Ronaldo, don't worry, Cliff will get me back.
No, he will.
There's one thing I know: if I throw a sling at Cliff, I'm going to get one back at some point.
Gary wrote a sex book. It's called Need, and it's about a symbiote, but he hates symbiotes in comics.
I do.
Check it out.
My symbiote's the best symbiote.
Yeah, only because she gets off every 4 pages.
I don't know what's wrong with your point. There's no bad point there.
There really isn't. I just want to.
All right, Las Cruces, how you doing? Great to see you.
James.
Steve saying hello to everybody. Mark
Yep.
from Legion of Comics. I get the reference now,
Yep.
Mark. I was
Yep,
lost
we
for
got
a
it.
minute.
Yeah, we were trying to puzzle it out, but we got it figured out. We're good.
One of my favorite guys in the community, Mr.
Joe.
Anachronic Comics, who I am representing tonight.
Always
If
the
you guys are not
Anachronic.
subbed to Joe, go sub to Anachronic Comics for excellent content, and you'll get a little bit of history with all his shows. It's great.
Mhm.
He was,
Mr.
a, he was a
DV8.
guest at our comic book
Oop.
shop. It was
Oh.
wonderful.
And if you like wrestling and wrestle crates and wrestle boxes and all things wrestling and some great horror, go check out DVH's channel. Mr. Chuck Hensey. And if you haven't watched the last episode he did with John's Comics with Kids, you are missing out because they had an incredible episode. And Chuck is just a great person and also a friend of the channel. And when he's not teaching, he comes and does co-hosting duties because he's got one shackle on him for the channel. Steve's got both shackles. We got Cliff on Comics saying hello. We have Couch in the Slots with C Bizzle.
See Bizzle.
What's up, C Bizzle?
C Bizzle.
See,
We have Zach's Collections, who I got to meet recently, and what a wonderful dude. Go check out his
Hey,
channel, especially Jake Pack Thursdays when he sometimes has to eat 30-plus-year-old gum.
oh
Just
no.
watching his face on that's entertainment enough.
Yeah, cardboard.
I did the research because I wanted to know what the oldest what the oldest pack of gum was in cards.
Mhm.
Can you believe it was 1888? I sent the capture to Zach. I'm like, we got to get you some 1888 gum because I'm going to watch you.
What
chew
flavor was it?
Sounds horrifying.
Dust.
Well, now it's
Dust.
mold.
Sawdust.
It was mold.
Sawdust flavor.
Yeah. Exactly. Also, Canada, I've been to so many times in my life. Never once had a bad time.
Yep.
And Gore Vidal, who is coming up and making his 10-1-1 debut on January 2nd, and you'll want to be here for that.
Nice.
Gore is one of the people in the community that when I'm doing a show with him, I just feel stupid the whole time.
You know, it's refreshing. I got to tell you. He also sends me into an existential crisis
But Dust Bowl.
80% of the time.
Here we go. Cliff, I drove by your shop on Friday, but couldn't stop as my wife and son were with me. We're on the way to Stratford. Actually, I suggested this stop, but that was shut down.
Yep. Overridden.
All right. So I will keep giving a tip of the hat to the people as they join us and are getting the notifications. But Ronaldo, it's all about you. So let's start out with your first choice.
So I don't know if you could see behind me.
Toys.
You collect things.
I had to dig over the
Action
weekend
figures.
to find stuff that's not like from the last couple weeks. And
What, it's not gonna
most
be
of my books are
breakfast cereal?
slabs for tonight.
It's
But,
not breakfast stuff? What's going on? You had
so,
toast. Where's the eggs?
Yeah, right. So I decided to go try and find one of the first books I remember reading over and over and over and over. And I had it years ago. I think it's probably still in my parents' house where they threw it out. And then I've since rebought it recently. I only had like 2 of them at this series. And then I've since found a lot. I have them all. I just haven't had time to go back and read all of them. But G.I. Joe Special Editions number 2.
Yeah.
This one, and it's got my boy Roadblock on the cover.
That's right.
Absolute
What a
favorite.
great issue.
Yeah, it's wild too because I'm like, I don't know why this one caught my attention as a kid, but I would read this thing all the time.
Gee, I wonder why. Blasting guns and the big battle. Yeah.
Right. And I was a big G.I. Joe kid at the time anyway, but yeah, that issue for whatever reason was like once a week I would read it. So.
And Roblox your favorite, Joe?
Absolutely my favorite,
Okay.
without question.
Now I got to ask, since I got 2 Joe guys here, why is Special Missions not had the same acclaim as the regular Marvel run? Because it seems the same quality was put into it.
Yeah, they were, but they were just kind of one shots.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Yeah, it never took off because I guess people were thinking, oh, gee, another number one and stuff. But I mean, every issue was good. It only went up to like 25 or 26.
Sounds about right. I have
like
actually sitting over here. That sounds
right. And they got some first appearances in them too.
Yes, they do. Dusty showed up in one of those. Yeah. But it was, they were really good, but they were just basically one shots. And some of them even crossed over into the regular Joe series too.
Right. And because I'm trying to think. I don't think there was any of them where it was even like a 2-issue arc, right? They were all really just one.
Yeah, they were all like one shots, basically. Yeah.
So was that actually one of the first comics you ever got?
That's one of the first ones I remember having. I mean, I had other ones here and there, but that's one of the first ones I remember and hanging on to for.
The one that left the impression.
Right, the one that stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I couldn't find it, but I've since bought it. The other one I was looking for, I have it somewhere, is remember the one where they're all unmasking?
Yes.
All of my friends had that one. I never had it. And I've since bought it. I have it, but I couldn't find it. So I was like, well, I know where this one is.
56 or something like that. Yeah.
Right, I bet, and that's the best thing, right? When there's something you wanted your whole life, and once you're an adult, you can go buy it for yourself.
Right. And then your wife's like, well, why are you buying this? Well, because I want it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm an adult now. I can buy shit when I want it.
Exactly.
Hey, why do you buy anything? Because you want it.
Yeah, exactly.
My money.
FOMO.
Right. See what else I got. So Cliff knows I'm a big Batman guy. So I grabbed, only because I have 2 of them and I got them graded at the same time, Batman number 609.
Ooh, signed.
Both signed by Jim Lee, both 9/8.
Nice.
So first appearance of Tommy Elliott. He's not Hush yet.
Actually, well, no, the first issue he's mentioned. This issue, we hear about Hush.
I think Hush is mentioned, but you don't see him. But you see Tommy.
Does it say it on? Did they put that note up there?
First
about
appearance
Hush?
of Tommy Elliott, Hush in
Parentheses.
quotations, and then it says Poison Ivy and Huntress appearance as well. But
It must be true because I've never seen CGC make a mistake.
You didn't go.
well, that's the conversation we have. What, once a week, Cliff?
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
About Gambit and Wolverine, what their first appearances. I'm like, you can
Right.
argue all you want.
266,
But CGC is the ones
or
putting
is
it
it
on
number
the
10 of the annual? Yeah.
I've even got the same book slab before and had different notes on it. I'm like, why? Why
Oh,
would
is
there
that
be
right?
different notes?
Well, because they will
change
They
their
will.
mind, right?
If the community turns them, the community is going to turn them. You know. Listen, if there's empirical evidence that X, Y, and Z, equal pi, then you're going to go with the empirical evidence.
right?
Yeah, it's just weird. All right,
Right.
number 3.
Or are you going to listen
wait,
to the
wait,
writer?
yeah.
Before we get to 3, though, is Hush one of your favorite Batman villains? Is that why that book's important to you?
So I love that run, and I was going to Boston Comic Con 5-6 years ago, and they had a Jim Lee experience where if you paid certain point, you got 5 signatures, and then there was another one you got 10. I was like,
Right.
wow, what am I going to get signed that would be
Right.
valuable to keep as a Jim Lee book? And those were 2 of the things that I got signed. So yeah, I do like that character. I mean, Joker's the easy one. I also like Riddler. I think Riddler's a great villain too.
Nice.
So yeah.
Now, ever since the Robert Pattinson Batman movie, you saw what they did with the Penguin. Do you wish that they do that for the Riddler in another Batman film? Like just to give him that kind of gravitas and bring him up into the main, because Penguin's never got as much respect as he's getting right now.
What's funny because I like the Penguin in that movie. I haven't watched the whole series, and Cliff can attest to this. When we talked about it on our show, I'm like, this is Sopranos with the Batman veneer. That's not the Penguin that I always think of. Penguin's a gangster, right, but he's a kind of a doofy gangster, just wants to run his casino and be left alone. So like it's cool that they're giving him more a grounded thing, but I like the goofy Penguin because I grew up on Batman 66 too. So
right.
But yeah, no, it'd be interesting. I don't know how if you could, because they kind of did a little bit on that Gotham series. But you worry about making him too creepy instead of just being a brainiac doing things.
Well, and they kind of made him more serious in the games too.
Oh, see, I haven't played the games. I should, but I haven't.
Circumstances.
All villains got an upgrade in the games.
Yes. After this show, make sure everybody stay in tune for FOC and Chill over on Circumstances channel.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe says Penguin was fantastic.
Yeah, I
am going to watch that, but right now, because I just re-upped on my Max, I didn't have it for a little bit, but I wanted to be around for Peacemaker season 2, and right. I also wanted to finish Titans. I'm on season 4 of Titans right now.
I just got that Black Friday deal, so I'm going to start.
That's what I did too. I'm like $2.99 for 7 months. Okay.
Right. I'm like
Cyber Monday, buying.
That, and I love, Titans was a show I hated the trailer. I didn't think I would like the show, and I really liked the show a lot. And I was not on board with the girl playing Starfire. And then I watched one episode, and I love the girl playing Starfire. So, like, she's amazing. I love that character. And her season 4, I just love how badass she is. She's in her powers now, and it's just. And
I don't think I realized it was on that long.
Yeah, I like that they developed like her, Raven, and just I like what they've done. It's got its weaknesses too. Like they always have to find a way to handcuff Connor so he can't just whip everybody's ass in the first episode and the season's over.
Right.
So they always got to find some way to put him to the side. I got to see that too, Joe. All right, number 3.
Number 3 is
enough with the tangents, Ronaldo. We got a show here.
Sorry.
Dude.
Yeah, number 3 is the only Batman book that I didn't buy in the shop. I don't know how I missed it. I read it after the fact and then completed the run. And this is my favorite Batman run. I know it's newer, but Batman #1.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Double signed.
A lot of people love the new 52.
What's that?
I said a lot of people love the new 52.
What I love about this, at least the initial first arc, was Snyder made Batman his own, like which you want all the writers to do. But he introduced the Court of Owls, and he made Gotham itself its own character that was unique to his run. But now seems like, of course, it was always that way.
Now, Cliff, are you a new 52 fan?
Absolutely not. It's one of the reasons I got out of comics.
Oh, is it really?
I'm not a Batman fan, so you know.
No, but New 52 wasn't just Batman.
No, I know. I was full of resentment because it was clear that the chosen children, Batman and Green Lantern, were untouched. Their stories moved smoothly. Superman's story descended into absolute chaos while they sat there and lied to the public repeatedly, saying it's not a reboot, right? So it was a hard out for me. I was really upset. I didn't buy any comics. I bought very few comics. I think I bought Swamp Thing and Animal Man. I bought very few comics until Rebirth showed up. But I hated everything. And I think I stuck it out with Legion of Superheroes. And even then they shoehorned that Legion of Superheroes was from another timeline. So they were never your Legion anyway. Pissed me off. I did like Earth 2, but mostly because I really love Joe Prado and Yvonne Hayes and their work and everybody. So I didn't buy zero comics, but it was a huge.
We had some allowances.
There were some allowances, but they were few and far between.
And see, it's so weird. Well, first of all, I can't have this guy come in without saying one of my all-time favorite people ever, Jerry the Jitterbug. Good evening, sir.
You missed Brad, did you?
Nope, I was saying Brad, and him and Joe are talking, having a conversation. Good evening, Brad, and also couching the slouching with C Bizzle. Now, the thing is I know a lot of people that absolutely love all the new 52, and I think you're the only person I know that just absolutely abhors it. I think I may know one other person, but it's weird how different runs affect people differently like that. I always find it kind of fascinating.
Well, again, it was just this dramatic shift. So,
and it wasn't your Superman. So if they'd done that to Batman, I would probably feel the same way. But I think they did Batman right.
All right, but since we're talking Batman real quick, who's your favorite Batman in the movies?
So I always feel like the best Batman has to be the best Bruce Wayne, because once you put the mask on, anybody can be Batman, right? I mean, as long as you know how to do the moves. So I really like Affleck. I think Affleck's a great Bruce Wayne.
Yes,
because he is a billionaire playboy. That's who he is. He plays basically playing himself.
And he's got the chin. He's got the chin.
And he's got the chin.
I've got two favorite Batmans, and for the same reason you said. Michael Keaton was a great Bruce Wayne and a great Batman. Ben Affleck was an imposing Batman, a fast acting. He looked like a realistic Batman. The way he moved, the way how tough he was, and he was a realistic, suave Bruce Wayne. And I thought all the other actors who played Batman couldn't do both. They could either play Batman or they could play Bruce Wayne, but they couldn't play both together.
Right.
And I thought so far, for me only, those are the only two actors that were playing both on screen, and I thought really well. And I think Christian Bale's a good actor. I can't stand him as Batman in any of those movies.
He's too over the top.
Yeah, he's too over top and he's too stiff. Like none of the fights are realistic. They're like slow motion underwater fights. It's just
Yeah. And I like Pattinson's take, but there's he needs to be bigger. And I was fine with that. I like that movie actually a lot, the Batman. But the scene that takes me out of it, and I've said this to anybody that asked me about it, is where he's setting up the floor to do his little schematic of, they constantly do with the strings or whatever. And he's pushing the table across.
Right.
Why is he shirtless? He looks scrawny. Just show it on the floor. I don't need to see him scrawny. I know.
Now,
he's gonna
I
get
did
bigger
like the
eventually,
Batman
but
movie
that's not
too.
Batman.
But I'm also in that camp where, like, when it was announced that Heath Ledger was going to be in Batman as a Joker, I was on board because I knew he was a good actor.
Mm-hmm.
When people announced Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman, I was on board because I've seen him in a lot of stuff that's not Twilight, where he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But the general public always just latches on to one thing, and then they have to run with that, and it's always just weird to me. It's like, we have casting directors for a reason. Usually they're right.
Generally.
And then once you see it on the big screen, you're wowed.
Right. Well, plus they're seeing 12 steps down the road. We're only seeing what we want to see right away.
Right. And I even like Ben Affleck as Daredevil. It's just a badly written. It's just a badly written movie.
Yes.
Agreed. But he was a good Daredevil.
Yeah, I agree. I think he got more heat for that than he needed to. And then I think initially when they announced him as Batman, he was still sitting on that. And it's like, well, that's not his fault.
Right. And I think the general public does that too much too. If a movie's bad, they just want to blame the person who played the lead character instead of like instead of like horrible writing.
Right.
Because even in the last Conan movie, Jason Momoa is a good Conan. That script is horrible.
It is. Well, we reviewed that.
He looks like the Conan that Robert E. Howard wrote.
Right.
I didn't even hate that Conan movie. I thought it had a lot of, interesting. And I don't mean just because I enjoyed seeing him running around half naked, because I did. But I still found the movie more enjoyable than not.
It had its moments. I think it fell apart in the last half hour.
I enjoy it. I just thought the Stephen Lane character was over the top, and I thought his character kind of ruined the film. I thought it was brutal in the best way too, with the guy's nose cut off and he's putting his finger in it to get information. The bar fight and just so good. Anyway, number 4, sir.
Number 4 is
Tangents.
I don't know if you can see it. I hate Fairyland.
Scotty Young.
I love this book. I'm a little behind on the new run of it. I have them all, but I love that story. It's just
too
great.
Controversial
it's a fun story.
cover. That's an awesome cover.
Yeah.
I like Scott. I've never read I Hate Fairyland or Fuck Fairyland, whichever one you want to buy. But I think Scotty Young, everyone loves his kitty art. I like his writing more than his art.
His newer
Strange Academy is so well written by him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did
you read Ain't No Grave?
I did not.
Yep. Ain't No Grave was good too. It was another Scotty Young.
I might have to get the trade of that and check it out.
And the art was good in that one too.
Yes, it was. And Middle West, I think it's called.
Is that another one he's doing?
Another one of his too. That he didn't do the artwork on it, but he wrote it. It was a great story.
I don't know did he do the Me You Love in the Dark? Was that his too?
I think so. I don't think I read that, but I think that was him as well.
Yeah.
Now, are you a fan of his kitty art or?
I like some of it, but I think it's a little saturated. There's every month there's another that.
Well, you like 17 covers. Yeah.
I'm like I've seen this before. Okay, now it's Spider-Man as opposed to Hulk. Okay.
And I think that's a problem with the big two is they get one good hit with something. Like they did that with Gleason, and then he had all the web variants. I couldn't look at them. I'm like, I don't even want to look at them.
Everybody wanted Gleason.
And I love those negative covers, but you see one of those all the time now too.
Right.
But every artist kind of has their typecast, though. That's the thing, though. You got David Mack stuff is always the same. The Peach Momoko stuff, and
yes.
Well, I don't know. I feel like Peach is all over the place. Good, bad, messy.
Yeah.
Actually, I agree with you on that, Cliff. Like when there's something of hers I love it. I think it's like the best thing I've seen that month. And then there's other things I'm just like, I'm okay.
Yep. What were you thinking? More drugs or less?
No, it's just she's got such a distinctive style. Some characters it fits really well, other characters it doesn't really fit.
Yeah,
but that's just my opinion.
Watercolors are not easy.
It does not make her a bad artist in any way. It's just,
Well, early it felt like a bunch of her covers were this was her warm-up sketch for something else, and let's just blow it up and make it a cover. And I was like, well, that's not really finished. But now most of them feel like they're a little more finished.
Number 5.
Number 5 is I read this from beginning to end.
There we
this
go.
First arc was great. And I remember when I first got it, I'm like, that's weird, because usually you see like 5 names of the artist, writer, whatever.
Right.
Apple did everything on this one. So to see one name down here was wild. And I got him to sign it. I think it was in New York.
I just got one question about that cover. Who put Wonder Woman in a corner?
Yeah, right.
That's
got the
that's
sword
just
out,
wrong.
man.
Poor Wonder
Crazy,
Woman.
crazy.
She doesn't deserve that treatment.
Diana's gonna come out and kick ass.
I had never seen that cover before.
No, it's
Tough to-
I love this cover. I mean,
Is it a wraparound?
It's not. It's got, it's Constantine on the back, but yeah.
So he really didn't like Wonder Woman, huh? Just cutting half her face off there.
I
So much
wonder,
for
too,
Trinity.
if it was a bigger picture, and then they, the bleed was a little bit too much, and maybe they cut it off on him. But you would think that if you have to have all 3, you would have her whole face. But
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, it says Trinity on the cover.
yeah.
Who's the signature? Who signed that one?
Manipul, Francis Manipul,
Oh, nice.
who did,
Right on.
like I said, did everything. He was the writer,
Yep.
he was the artist, and the colorist. So
Did it? Oh yeah. So there you go. The whole package. One guy does everything.
one guy on the whole book.
Yeah, I missed him at Gotham Central 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice guy. Very quiet. Very nice
Yeah.
guy, though.
We got everyone in the chat saying happy birthday, Kenneth. I think I
Yep.
missed it. So
Yep.
oh, here he is.
65.
All right. Happy birthday, Kenneth.
Happy birthday.
Do we have to sing it now?
Oh, you don't want me to sing anything. That'll ruin anyone's birthday. All right, number 6.
Number 6 is one of my favorite stories. I didn't have all of them. I've since gone back and gotten most of them. I'm still trying to fill in like the 1 or 2 here and there.
Right.
But Ghost was a
shit.
pretty underrated book. I don't think
Yeah,
everybody,
big time.
Adam Hughes art, gorgeous.
Yep.
He only
Yep.
did like the first like 3 or 4 issues, and then he did covers for a while after. But I love this book. This
I love his
character, I still
signature.
love this character.
AH exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Easy.
Well, that's the wildest part when you get him to sign stuff. You're like, well, I paid for it. It's cool, but like,
It's the easiest one to forge. Like, is it really him?
right?
Well, I mean,
Anybody could do that one.
but also, how smart is he? All right, I'm getting popular. I'm gonna have to sign shit for the rest of my life.
See,
Done.
and when I was at Fan Expo and I was talking to Jed McKay, he was saying the same thing, because he used to sign the books like he does his checks, but now he started doing it differently because he realized that he's going to have to sign books, like you said, for the rest of his life. So he's changed up his signature. So I've got his OG one where it was like his check one, and now I have his newer version, which is cool.
Now, I've never read Ghost, but I did pick up a couple issues recently to give it a shot. So, I mean, I love the character design.
The character's great. And I went back. So, like I said, I have most of them, but they had some deal at one point on, or maybe my brother gave me money for Comixology, and I went back and bought them all digitally. So I have them all. And I'm, when I'm sitting in a doctor's office, which I have been lately for silly things, I got my phone just reading an issue or 2, which is kind of cool.
Now, how many issues did the series go?
So the first run, I think, was 29. There was like 4 or 5 different runs, and they kind of didn't volumize it, but it was almost that way. And then when it moved to, I don't think it's all Dark Horse. I think Dark Horse sold it to somebody else for a little while. So there's 4 runs. The first 2 are like 30 issues a piece, and then the last 2 were like 8 issues and 10 issues, if I remember correctly.
Right, and I was wondering, it's funny that you brought that up, because I was like, Dark Horse has all these characters like X, Barbed Wire, and nothing's being done with any of these characters in the last 10 years. You think they would try to revive them with comics being as popular as they are right now?
Absolutely. Well, especially since you could create, why not create your own universe? Because they all kind of knew each other, but like now, everybody's about creating a universe. You already have one, just flesh it out. Yeah, it's kind of surprising.
Right.
Well, I think they were kind of not scared, but struck by the fact that they lost the Star Wars, universe. So then they're like, what are we going to do? So then they brought in all this new stuff. It's like, well, you have stuff. You're right. Just use it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm just looking up a Ghost trade paperback on eBay. I might get it. Nocturnes.
Right on.
something new to
Fun
read.
part of your show, buying stuff, scrolling.
I think that's part of every
Purchasing.
show, right? We all get reminded of something we want to read.
Yeah, I always have the pen and paper out because I'm always like, oh Jesus, not
And I
again."
like that because right now, Ghost, that's a new one that's been on the channel, so that's cool.
And I mean, and if you want to commission Ronaldo to draw something for you on a blank cover, he's also available, and you can reach him as an IG, and the link is in the description below.
Absolutely. And my email
Just
address
saying.
for that is right here too as well. I check that every couple of
Well, Ronaldo, you could always become a sponsor of my channel, and I'll just share your link in every video I make, and I don't want anything in return.
Hey, I won't say no.
Right? So you just send me your stuff, and I'll add you to the links that I do. And
Right on.
I just do it to help people. I don't want anything from you for it. So
Free advertising.
I take that back. Next time you see Cliff in person, just give him a good little slap.
There you go.
Wow.
I'll know
And the
what's
hits
from
just
you,
keep
Gary.
coming.
I'll know what's from you.
Cut me deep just then, right?
Right?
This is from Gary, backhand.
Right.
I will get in the
Nice.
car and start driving north immediately with Ronaldo tied up in the trunk. And then when I'm gonna pull up right in front of Gary's government named home,
Somebody gonna get hurt real bad.
Right.
Gary's gonna come home. His son is gonna be eating my lasagna. He's gonna be wondering how did any of this happen. Ronaldo's gonna be tied to a kitchen chair. And
Yeah, well,
I have something for you.
I know how to distract Cliff. My son and I will be up here, and I'll just hire a couple guys to oil up and stand outside shirtless, and he'll get distracted.
I've seen what part of the state has to offer. It's not that impressive.
Cliff would be like,
man.
"Ooh, piece of candy! Ooh, piece of candy!"
We'll see.
All right, number 7, Ronaldo.
Number 7 is again a double, but it's the same book. So I had 2 of these. I got them graded, and I said I would never crack them again unless I could get one more signature, which was George Perez. I had Rubenstein, I had Starlin, and I had DeFalco, who was the editor. Infinity Gauntlet number
Oh,
one.
nice.
Man.
And one of them, and I couldn't tell you which one at this point, was a 9.6 when I started. And I was like, well, maybe if I press it, it'll be a 9.8. So I'm like, press both of them just because I don't, you can't send one and go
Yep,
press this
don't
one, but not
trust
that
it.
one.
Yep.
Just press them both, and they both came back 9.8. So
That's beautiful.
ecstatic.
Absolutely.
Nice,
beautiful.
especially to get 9.8s with signatures on is always nice.
Right.
Well, George Perez now, I mean, you're not going to see it anymore. So
Well, that was it. So it was, I think it was during
Right.
COVID even. It was one of those when you send it in, you tell them what, whatever.
yeah.
And I was like, well, I'll never see him again. Who knows? Because I knew he'd kind of stopped doing shows at that point.
And then he passed away after that
right,
too. 'cause
almost
he shut
like
it
3
down.
months after I got him
Yeah,
back.
you
It
shut
was
it down.
crazy.
Like I was going to send my Wonder Woman 1 off to him, and then they said nope, he's not doing them. His health deteriorated.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, because he was supposed to be at Terrificon.
Yeah.
And then pulled out, and then like I said, then CGC had this online
Had the big
sent
signing.
books in. I was
Yeah.
like, well, okay, I'll make up for it. And then but didn't know he was as sick as he was. So
You got lucky because by the time I was going to send mine in, it was like January, and that's when they shut it down.
oh, is that right? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And he's one of the few comic talents out there where there's not a negative story out there about him. Everything's
Right.
positive about that dude.
Oh.
Like you never hear a bad George Perez story. All you ever hear is what a great dude he was.
Or he didn't have to do this, but
Right.
and then something you're like, wow.
He's like, whenever you think of George Perez, you always think, I mean, obviously his art's great and his talent, but you always get the impression of how big his heart was too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Bigger than life.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
All right, number 8, sir.
So number 8 is I'm a big Star Wars guy as well. Batman and Star Wars are my 2 properties that I love. And so this one I got signed by Phil Noto, and I got to have a nice conversation with him.
Oh, I like Phil Noto.
Chewbacca number 5.
Oh, right on.
Oh,
And this is the one where it explains why Chewie does not have a medal at the end of Star Wars.
all right. I need to know.
Ah.
I need to know.
So I don't know if you can see
Spoiler
the kid
alert.
on the cover. He gave it to this kid because the community that he was living in was destitute. So take this medal and sell it, and then you can pay for everybody to eat and stuff, basically.
Yeah, greedy ass Han Solo kept his.
Oh yeah, I mean,
So like in the story, I think they show him with it at the beginning, like he's just in the background of them getting them, but then yeah, he gives it away.
Nice.
Han's hanging from his console on his ship,
Right.
like one of those little air fresheners, right?
You ever think like George Lucas got tired of getting shit for that because he didn't give the Wookiee a medal?
I'm sure.
All right, I get it. We messed up.
Right. We didn't think it was going to be that big a deal. Nobody was going to like this big hairy.
Yeah, he's
thing.
too tall. We couldn't fit it over his freaking head.
Right.
Oh, the George loved to talk about how tall he was. Jeez.
I saw a story. I was watching this thing on YouTube the other day where they were talking about when it was originally Revenge. Well, it was originally Return of the Jedi. Somebody at the studio wanted to make it Revenge of the Jedi. It was that way for a little while, and then they switched it back because he's like, Jedis don't do revenge.
That's right.
But Leia was not supposed to be his sister. That's why they kiss in Empire, and then they wanted to make everything kind of go back together at the end. But like initially, that she was not supposed to be his sister. That's why at the end, where he's flying off to go fight Darth Vader, if you remember, Yoda says, or Obi-Wan says,
Nope.
he was our last hope. And he's like, no, there is another. And so the plan was at the end of Return of the Jedi, he was supposed to go find the other one. It wasn't supposed to be Leia.
Oh.
Damn. But then they made it weird.
Right. And then, yeah.
Then they made it weird.
Right.
I don't care. I like the weird one. I love it. And you know that weird Star Wars Elseworld? That's not an Elseworld, but whatever. It's a what if. And like they lose, like it's just like they lose the first battle. The Death Star is not destroyed. Vader kidnaps Leia and starts training her while Luke continues to try and complete. I love that book from Dark Horse. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never read any Dark Horse Star Wars.
That's my other goal is I have almost all of it. I want to have a full collection. I have like probably about 85% of it, but there's like one book out of this one, but I have a lot of it at this point. But it's hard to find because nobody wants to sell it.
Right. And with all the comic companies that are doing stuff now, I would love to see Dark Horse come back into prominence again.
Agreed.
Yeah, they had some really good books out.
They sustained a lot of IPs but they treated IPs with respect when they had them.
Mm-hmm. And from what I understand, they were fairly good to their artists and writers, as opposed to some of the other. I don't want to crap on the big two, but they took care of them more so than the other ones did. And then once they couldn't, things kind of fell apart. But
well, yeah, and there's companies like Aftershock that did that too, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like some of Aftershock's books, but then you hear the horror stories of their talent not getting paid, and you're like, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Which how do you stay in business when you do stuff like that?
Right, and we used to have the representatives come around here all the time.
Oh,
Right.
did you? Okay.
Bring like the promo copies. I forgot.
Yeah, and I
the
seen them at
ambassador
the con,
copies or
too.
whatever they're called.
And I talked to them at the cons and said, I really love your books, man. It's really good stuff. And then, they started screwing everybody over. And then some of these runs, they just ended abruptly and you never got the resolution to the stories.
Right.
Hate when that happens.
Oh, come on. It's not even a question. It's Marvel, Conan. That original run is unbeatable. The original Conan run and and also the Savage Sword. Well, I would say it was unbeatable, but man, Jim Zub is doing a fantastic job. Like every Conan story he's putting out is just great right now.
Gather round, children.
Yeah, but Dark Horse, Dark Horse is very up and down for me. Like I'm collecting it, but I didn't like a lot of the art choices they made with some of the Conan, and some of the stories are pretty bad, but some of them are actually really good too. The only Conan stories that are absolutely horrible are anything that's adapted and reprinted through Ablaze Comics. Those are horrible. They just don't know how to adapt things correctly. They ruin it. I mean, the blueprint's there. And this is why when people give some people shit for adapting things, like, oh, they didn't write it, they just adapted it. Adapting's a skill.
Absolutely.
And you're either good at it or you're not. Roy Thomas could adapt a Robert E. Howard story unbelievably well. Kurt Busiek, also a good adapter of Howard Tales. And Jim Zub is great. Yeah, Gore. See, trigger Gore right there because he knows how to trigger me. Because that Frost Giant's daughter, which is a story about Conan, I'm not even going to get into it. Gore, don't trigger me.
I mean, there is a reason why at the Oscars there's an award for adapted screenplay.
Yes, adaptations aren't, especially when they change like a major point. That is the reason the story's happening the way it is. You're like, why would you do that?
Absolutely.
No, number 9, Ronaldo.
Number 9 is I always call him my favorite bowl of soup because he's always consistent. He never really goes up and down. He's always his Daredevil. And this is Daredevil number 11, which is the first appearance of Muse, who we're supposed to see in the MCU coming up.
Nice.
Is that a sketch cover?
It's not.
It almost looks it.
Well, I guess it is. It's Garney, who's always very sketchy anyway. But so yeah,
I've never seen that cover. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I one of the few people I like Echo. The series Echo.
I liked parts of it.
Yeah,
I thought it trailed a little bit at the end.
Yeah, I don't like the everything's a car accident thing.
Yeah.
Like I hate that trope where everything happens and everyone's scarred because their parents died in a car accident or something stupid.
Right.
That part I don't like, but there was a lot of that show I liked.
I thought D'Onofrio was still very good. I loved the conceit of I don't learn sign language. I just get contacts that tell me what you're saying.
Right.
Like, of course he would do that, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
I liked some of the old, showing the old, the ancient tribes and stuff. I thought
I love that. That's the part I love the most.
What's that?
I said that's the part I love the most is that the history.
Someone was really good. I thought that lacrosse scene was a little ridiculous though. I'm like, look, there's a reason why they didn't let women play because a lot of people died playing that sport. So like, it's cool that you're incorporating that now for a story, but that's not accurate at all. Right. So that kind of left me hanging. But I thought it was well done. I liked her cousin. I thought was really cool that stole the grandma's truck.
Yep.
But overall, I thought that of the series, I didn't think it was the worst one. I just didn't think it was the best.
No, it wasn't spectacular, but it was definitely. I like the actress that plays her too.
Yes,
she did her. She did.
Again, I thought, like we've said a lot of times, though, like a really good cast. Sometimes it's the writing's fault, though.
100%.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think when it was strong, but there was some points where I was like, well, I don't know where you're going with this.
And and I really did like all the history lore. The thing I didn't like was how stubborn her grandma was until she let her back. I'm like, all right, she wouldn't have held a grudge this long.
Right.
It's your granddaughter, damn it.
Right, absolutely.
All right, number 10, sir.
Number 10 is the first book I ever got graded. It was one of the first shows I ever went to. I didn't even know about CGC at the time. It was Boston, series that I loved, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this signed, whatever. I walk up with the book, and it's John Layman and Rob Guillory at the same table. You may know what this book is before I even show it. And John goes, oh, this is in really good shape. I'm like, okay. He goes, I don't want to sign this without a witness here. If you ever plan on getting this graded, he goes, go get a witness and come back. I'm like, what are you talking about? So he explains. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went out and shoe number 1.
Oh, nice.
I was like, okay. I had 2 of them. I was like, I was my reader copy, and then I had this one. I was like, so I'm like, I'll get this one signed. It's in good shape. He goes, no, I don't want to sign this and ruin it for you. And then have, if I put a ding in it or something.
Right. Or you get the green label because they didn't do
correct
verification.
But again, CGC was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was just there to meet people and get stuff signed.
Yeah.
That's actually a really solid move on his part for
100%.
That was good of him.
So
nice. I like stories like that where the artist is thinking a little bit about the people that actually support them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Those collectors.
And then you know, then I was there for all 3 days. So every time I walked by, I would ask him a question. He's like, "Oh, yeah, super nice guy, super nice guy." Nice. I think they had a panel about the book too, if I remember correctly.
That's like Jim Zub. If you ask him a question, pull up a chair. The guy's going to give you a couple of hours of conversation.
Jim Zub looks like a talker.
Oh, massive, massive. He tells his origin story like every time. It's awesome.
You know, one year I got to get over to Canada and go see him with you.
Yep.
I met him, I want to say, in New York. And you're right. Like, you ask him, and then, yeah, you're there for 20 minutes easy.
Yep. There's people lined up, and he doesn't care. He just sits there and talks.
Yep.
That's good because he's passionate. He's passionate about his work.
Yes.
Dan Slott's good, but he is super sensitive. You know, and maybe not that you shouldn't be. If people come at you the wrong way, should you sit there and take it? You know, but like, you know, I've had people like say something a little left field and watch it go downhill. But I've seen that in several cases. But with Dan, like, the fuse is short. But mostly just a great guy. Bendis is good to talk to.
And the thing is,
I've never met Bendis.
Those aren't the venues to attack people. They're there for the fans or for people that want to see them. They're not there for the person that's all pissy about something.
Well, okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, the person wasn't particularly pissy, but they were critical, and you know, he just kind of like
rubbed him the wrong way.
Right, it rubbed him the wrong way. And in the meantime, I had just come from witnessing much worse, you know, and with Claremont, and Claremont just was like, bah, 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 bah. Claremont's like, let's go.
Right.
You know what's difficult though too, and I'm not trying to play necessarily devil's advocate, but those guys are seeing hundreds of people a day.
Yes.
It's difficult to be on all day long.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have a bad moment. You just hope it's not a viral moment.
Right.
Especially you're meeting how many different people? Some of them are going to be assholes.
Yeah.
100%. And you still kind of have to try and put a smile on your face.
There was one time I was patiently waiting for Phil Jimenez, and this dude started dropping this nonsense, comparing Wonder Woman to Wolverine, right? And he wouldn't let it go. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I just couldn't hold it in. I was like, why are you here?
Stop talking right now.
I'm like, you should not be comparing Wonder Woman to Wolverine ever. I'm like, is this a prank show? I'm like, do you have a podcast where you prank artists? Like, what are we doing? I've been waiting for 27 minutes. You're done. Please stop and move on. I'm like, I don't know what this is.
Right? Good on you, man.
That's right.
And some of that's just people that need attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how they're getting it. They just need it.
Absolutely. You need attention. Just come over me, flex your arm. Like, you know, I'll give you attention.
Nah.
Move on down the road, brother. Move on down the road.
Exactly. I need to see my Phil.
It's like in Seinfeld where you go see the soup Nazi and just one step to the
yeah, that's right. No signature for you. Get up.
Now, Cliff, did you read the new Absolute Wonder Woman?
I did.
They gave her the pennant stare lasso, which I wasn't upset about. I thought it was a cool idea to add it in.
She's raised in hell by the woman who would have been her greatest enemy.
Right.
Surfies.
And man, and I'm sorry, I just got it. How good was the dialogue between her and the commander?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Man, that dialogue was amazing. Kelly Thompson is one of my favorite writers. Every time I read her, she's amazing. Her whole 50-issue Captain Marvel run, I love, and everybody was sleeping on that run and not reading it, and it was so good. So many people that missed out on good reading because they didn't like a movie.
Yep.
They don't understand that the comics are vastly different than the movies.
And more often than not, better. Sometimes
it
flips, but usually the comics better. Because you can do more. You have more time to do it.
Absolutely.
And number 11, extended personal storybook.
So this book, I bought it years ago because again I collect all Star Wars stuff. Whenever, no matter what it is, I get it. And I got it signed in Boston. And then forgot about it, right? Just because I forgot, you put it away, whatever. I didn't think anything of it at the time.
Right.
So then I was like, and then it was getting hot again. So I'm like, all right, well, I should take it and get it graded. So it's CBCS, not CGC.
That's fine.
A year and a half later, it comes back.
Yeah, I know. That was
I
horrible.
remember those wait times.
Yep. That's what happened with my Mad 1. That was the same
I forgot
thing.
I had a book until it came back.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You send it in, forget about it. It doesn't exist anymore.
I'm filling out the paperwork, and the guy's like, well, he's like, well, what do you want to insure it for? I'm like, well, I said, how much can I insure it for? He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, if it comes back a 9.8, it's going for like $2,000 right now. So can I put $2,000? He's like, yeah, I guess. Well,
okay, done.
And I actually really like the quality of the CBCS slabs. I have a lot. I've done a lot with CBCS. I love their slabs.
They're thinner, which is nice. You can fit more in a box.
But they're tough too.
Yeah,
have you got a magazine one yet? It's
I have a bunch of magazine boxes. Yeah.
Oh man,
the magazines. No, I haven't. Are they?
Dude, they're a chunk. You could club a baby seal to death with those suckers. Those things are amazing.
Okay.
They're so thick. They're like a brick. They're solid. The new CGC ones are good, but the CBCS ones are super, super
Listen,
good.
I like the CBCS one just fine. I love their Black Friday advertisement, just sticking it to CGC. I thought that was excellent.
Well, the new CGC ones better be good after that.
Yeah, but also I hear the PSA ones. Everyone's like, "Oh, the PSA ones are so strong." I'm like, number one, CBCS is already strong, right? And I never thought I would be one of those people to jump forward to CBCS. And they're like, and number two, I was like, PSA's font. Okay, you might keep the PSA logo font.
Yeah, their font is shit.
But everything else is garbage.
Ugly.
Come up with a better label because no one's coming to you, baby. No one.
Yes.
And a lot of people piss on CBCS, but I actually love the quality of their slabs so much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did kind of sort of almost steal a book from somebody. That's a
little. No, they've definitely made their mistakes. I haven't really had a bad experience with them. So,
except waiting forever.
Yeah, I mean they've gotten better lately, but for a while it was like you send a book and then you'd forget about it.
Yeah, mine was 14 months.
They've always been, and I'm a Coke guy, so that's how they've always been the Pepsi to CGC's Coke. It's just two flavors. Which one do you enjoy more?
Right.
Until recently, they had the signature verification that you could do, but now the CGC is doing it. It's kind of like, now what?
Yep.
Well, and I think
CGC said they were never going to do it. Right? They said they were never going to do it, and they turned around and did it.
Well, that's because they knew they had new owners.
Yeah, and the money. You can make the money on it.
Yeah, once new ownership takes over, anything the last ownership said is done.
That's right.
I'm so sad with that American story where your only opportunity for growth is to become corporate. That's the only way you're gonna have the funds to be able to reach the masses. And I just think it's just so sad because then you end up, you just sell the soul of what you had. You're rich. Right. The thing that you were in love and that you want to protect isn't yours to protect anymore.
Well, and oftentimes you make your money and walk away from it. It's no longer yours, so you don't worry about the legacy of it, even though.
But the thing is, I don't know. I think people do worry about the legacy.
Yeah, but once you sell it, how can you?
Because I don't know. There's a part of you that hopes it's not going to go to trash or that somebody will still listen to you, like George Lucas. I'm sure that man lost many nights of sleep.
What the hell did they do to my beloved thing?
Barbara
Walters, hold your book up again so C. Bizzle knows what it is. Yeah. Go ahead, Cliff.
Barbara Walters is known for having called The View repeatedly after she left. And they just ignored her.
The View.
I'm not saying that's the best example. I am just saying there is a person who had an established product, right? And as wild as it was, when she was there, she maintained it to be a certain thing. And when she left, they were like, "Your certain thing is gone."
Yeah, arrivederci.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now, Ronaldo, your spec pick, sir.
So I had a couple ideas of what I wanted to do, and then I was going through my CGC books. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's why I graded these ones. So I have the entire run graded. I have a couple copies of number 1, a couple copies of number 2. I think only like 1 of 3 and 4. But and I've been hanging on to them for a couple years now because I remember when I follow the guy on Instagram. I remember when Steve McNiven put up a post saying that this story had just been optioned by Netflix. It's who knows when it's coming out, but we're optimistic. I was like, oh, okay, this will be interesting if they really do this and do it right. Nemesis.
Oh, nice.
So this isn't this is the one I'm keeping, but I have like 2 9.6s of number 1, and then I can think another one's like a 9.4. And like I said, I have the whole run grade. I have multiple copies of each one, and I've just been hanging on to them. But it hasn't come out yet, so now it's like, well, eventually should I just cut bait now, or do I hang on to them for longer?
Oh, hang on. Everything's always in development. You never know when something's going to strike right now.
As soon as the trailer drops, that's when you start selling them.
Right. I did that with Farmhand too, but not with as many.
Yeah. I remember Farmhand when it came out. I never picked that one up though.
Oh, great! It's great. I mean, if you love Rob Guillory's artwork, it's great, and the story's so crazy.
And well, Steve McNiven, I like his art a lot.
Well, it's funny. So remember, he did The Death of Wolverine, that story, and the artwork's great. And then he also did the artwork of when they brought him back, and I think it was the inker, because I'm looking at it going, this is clearly the same guy, but it's not the same quality.
Not the same effect, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny how inkers can make a difference too.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And people don't give inkers enough credit, but there was some, and like some inkers, you can tell their style. Like I always promote Ernie Chan. Like when Ernie Chan inked somebody, you knew it. Mm-hmm. It was so distinctive, and it added so much. It made the work complete. And I think a lot of inkers do that. They enhance an artist. Some of the artists you wouldn't like them if they weren't inked by a certain person.
Absolutely. And I think that's why some artists use the same inker for years on end, because they're like, yep, I found my guy. I don't want don't change
it. Don't fuck it up.
Right, you get
Scott Williams and Jim Lee. That's a team I would.
Well, and if you look at Scott Williams'
dream team
personal art, his style is very much similar to Jim's anyway. So it's almost like he's inking himself.
Right. Well, they're like peanut butter and jelly. Some of these people, right? They just go so well together. Why would you break them up? It's just
right.
If they want to work together, let them.
Right. Well, at this point, if you're Jim Lee, you can get whoever you want, right?
Right.
And nobody's going to argue with you.
Nice. Well, those are all fantastic books. So you had a couple firsts on the show. First time Nemesis has made the show, so great.
And all signatures, everyone signed except for the first one.
First time I think Chew was on the show.
Yay.
I love that.
Definitely the first time Ghost was on the show, so you got extra points for that one from me.
Awesome.
Great books.
Thank you.
And what a good time. I mean, super nice to meet you finally.
Absolutely.
And
fun.
Of course, the thanks goes to Cliff, who said I had to get you on. So Cliff, thank you very much, sir. Awesome guest, awesome person, and great time.
I can't wait for Thursday night.
Now it's going to be me, Cliff, and Trigger Jim, as we call him when Cliff's around. Jim. But Ronaldo, if you want to co-host, you're welcome to be a third co-host on that night. You just have to let me know, and I'll send you the link.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not doing anything Thursday.
All right.
So Sam will just be sweating bullets. Why are there 4 of you watching?
It's gonna be sweating bullets.
But we're gonna go around the house here and see what's going on. So we're gonna start always with my co-host Steve. What's coming up for you, sir?
Hopefully the Voices Choices might be on time tomorrow. Might not be. I don't know. I'll probably be hanging out with Trev if I get home in time. And I'm just doing my going through my books. Anachronic Comics is going to be doing a Espresso Mail call on Friday the 13th, so I'll be on that too. So that'll be fun.
Ever since that Sabrina Carpenter song, I feel like his Espresso Mail call has a whole new has a whole new meaning.
And the espresso song.
Yes,
I love the song, but I like Yuna's version better.
I love me some Sabrina Carpenter. Yeah, she came from Girl Meets World. Now the world is with her. I love her.
I'm a big Boy Meets World fan. I will watch that show at least once a year. Usually the college season. I like the college season more than the younger ones.
Yes.
But then I got into Girl Meets World as a result of that.
Yeah, no, true. And I love it. And they did everything in their power to make a nice, uniform, connected tissue between the two series. I appreciate that.
So, Cliff, what's coming up for you, sir?
Well, as usual, you can find me with the Council of Comics for New Comic Book Day, our multiple award-winning show. Multiple. On Wednesday nights, live at 8 p.m. over at the Council of Comics. And this month, we have a giveaway that easily could be worth $1,000 for our 1,000 subscriber giveaway / best monthly giveaway box in all of YouTube comic book community. Not best box, just best monthly box. I mean, let's be clear. I'm not going to compete with Rob.
Do you want to say what's in it?
Well, there's a beautiful slab in there.
Well, hold on. Let me make you big. Go ahead and promote your Council of Comics.
There's a Something is Killing the Children 1 in 25 foil. Which issue is it?
I think it's 11. I could be wrong. I remember looking at it.
I think it's issue 11, but it's a 1 in 25 virgin foil cover in there. And that's slabbed 9.8. The 9.8 1 in 10 Craven, Spider Craven concept art cover. So that's 2 slabs right there. You also will be getting this trade of Project Patron by Steve Orlando and Patrick Piazzalunga. I happen to love it. I happen to have an extra copy, so it's going into the giveaway. You'll also receive a whole bunch of holiday comics that I picked out especially for this event. And I don't have all of them with me because Sam has most of them, but you will get the Marvel 1994 holiday special.
Sweet.
And you will get this holiday issue of Daredevil.
But wait, there's more.
And you'll get this Peter Parker holiday issue as well.
Oh, that's a wicked one.
Oh, look, they're both newsstands. Hey. And
I got that spectacular.
There's
and
more.
You'll get first print, blank cover, Absolute Batman #1. First print, blank cover, Absolute Superman #1. First print, blank cover, Absolute Wonder Woman #1.
Ooh.
Second print, noir foil cover, Absolute Wonder Woman #1.
Foil goodness. Look
So
how shiny that
that's
is.
the stuff that I can remember to tell you about. The 2 slabs, this, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
I got stuff too. I have
And-
You know them.
And hold on, day and time.
You can tune into the council on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and for your chance to win a duck for the ultimate duck race. And of
Sundays
course,
at 5 as well, because we do one on
and Sundays at 5, we do one as well. But we are doing the grand. Is it the December 30th we're doing it?
I think right after Christmas we're doing it.
So yeah, December 30th, that'll be the chance to win this $1,000 box. What was the big one? Wait, the big one. There was the big one. We got the foil one. Is that the big one?
Yeah. Well, and then I mean, do I?
Yes, there's
spoil what I
another
saw
big
today?
one, right? Yeah,
Do I
there's
spoil
another
what I
big.
saw today because there's more, Sam got more stuff today.
Well, what
And
was the one you saw
Anthony
today?
put something in too.
What was it? Just tell them. They need to know.
So yeah, I mean, I don't want to ruin it for tomorrow if he plans on showing it, but there's another slab. I won't say what it is. I'll just say it's another.
But
slab.
is it a classic slab? Is it a
It's
classic
a slab of a cover of someone who's near and dear to the store.
Well, we can find out in 2 nights' time if you tune into the 1011 when Sam's on and these 2 gentlemen.
But if you watch us tomorrow live at 8, you'll see it then too.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, you will get this Baltimore Comic-Con exclusive Mike McCone Spider-Man poster or print. And Baltimore Comic-Con exclusive Doom Sanford Green cover.
Ooh, nice.
This is, I don't know if you can see it in here. It's a little foily in the corner too. The Tick, they did an exclusive for that show, and I got a sketch done on one of them.
Oh, nice. That's great. Holy cow.
And then I threw 2 of my stickers in because I was feeling saucy. So a little Black Panther's Sugar Skull and Spider-Man Sugar Skull.
Nice.
And there might be, who knows? Maybe I'll throw more stuff in too.
Ooh.
No, Phil, you should have had him do a sketch on one of those blanks.
And Gary, what's coming up on your channel?
Hold on, I just called Cliff Phil for some reason.
You did again. You did again.
I just realized I did it. I
Phil.
think I've done that twice. I've called him
Where's
Phil.
And
Phil?
worse is next week you're actually going to have a Phil on with us.
I know, right? All right, so coming up for me, and I apologize, Cliff.
No worries.
Coming up for me, we have Sam, also from the Council of Comics, where you can see this whole crew, minus
No pressure, Sam.
Steve.
There he is.
Well, Steve will be gone, and Digger Jim will be in his place.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a Phil. Oh, Joe, he just said good things about you earlier. How could you?
He's on his way to your house right now.
Right.
You're going to be locked up in a lot of people in the trunk. Hopefully Cliff's trunk is big.
Right?
My trunk is huge. Green Shirt Guy knows this. I can stick at least 2 bodies in there, and it's got full fold-down access. And you know what that's for, Gary.
Wow.
All right, next week on Tuesday, we have Pocan Joe coming on doing all villains covers.
Wait!
Nice.
What? Wait!
Nice.
What? No! What? What do you have next Tuesday?
What?
What do you have next Tuesday, Gary?
Pocan
Next
Joe.
Tuesday is the 10th. I'm on your show the 17th.
Let me review the calendar. Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. On the 10th, you have Pocan Joe. Oh my God, can I be here for Pocan Joe?
Everything's fine
And
now.
I will send you a link.
Yeah, Phil can be on the show. That's fine.
Okay.
See, I have you. I put you on there as soon as we made the date on
No,
there.
you're on. No, don't worry, baby. You're on mine. That's why I went and looked. That's why I had a heart attack. I looked.
Yes. So Pocan Joe next Tuesday. Ignore Cliff. He doesn't. So Cliff's going to be on Tuesday and Thursday on this channel again next week because we have DJ Links and Legion of Comics doing their movie list from Cliff in the same vein as John's Comics with Kids and Chuck Hensey. That'll be a fun show.
That'll be cool.
DJ had seen that show and loved it and wanted to do his own version against Mark, so that'll be a lot of fun. So Cliff got to give someone else homework again, so that was good for Cliff.
It was a very ugly reception. So wait, what night are we doing DJ and Mark?
Next Thursday.
Thursday, the 12th.
Yep.
Oh my Lord! All right.
And then on the 17th, I'll be on Cliff's channel.
Yes.
And on the 19th, we have Phil from the Council of Comics on. So that'll be like five Comic Council people I've had on. And I still got to schedule January. And you said you had some more people for me to reach out to, but I haven't reached out yet because my December's full. So towards the end of December, I'll start scheduling January.
Sounds excellent.
And then of course, that's it. So tune in. Keep an eye on Saturdays because once a month you have Torsen and I doing a Savage Saturday Live where we're going to highlight an artist that we think is underappreciated in the sword and sorcery genre. Last week we did, oh my gosh, we just Mary Wilshire. I kept wanting to say Marie Severin because we're doing her. I think we're doing her next or after. But we did Mary Wilshire last week, who just had some incredible work all around in comics, but especially in sword and sorcery, in our opinion. So we got a lot coming up. But as always, just a big thank you to these 3 gents who are on the show tonight. Thank you guys so much for a great time and a great show. Appreciate you guys coming on. Thank you to the audience that was watching. And if you're catching us on the rewind, do not forget, if you're not subscribed to any of the people on this panel, to go into the description below and click on their links, and it'll take you right there. And if you're in the mood for something saucy, the link to my book, The Need, is also in the description below, and it'll take you right to Amazon, where you can purchase it digitally or in paperback. All right, so you can get it for as cheap as $2.99 for a quality read. And yes, I'm biased. It's mine. Damn it.
It's okay.
Oh, yes, you're biased. It is a quality read. Everyone check it out, especially if you need something saucy. But I have Power of X-Men coming to Comics and Coffee with Cliff this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And I can't believe that I forgot it. I am so freaking excited. I've only wanted this for 2 years. I can't wait. Paul and I are going to be discussing it like nobody's business.
Are you burying the lead with what's coming up in 2 weeks?
And Toys for Tots is going to be taking place on December 14th, Saturday, at Alternaverse Comics Hall, LCS, from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. We're going to have Marines there. We're going to have Ryan G. Brown there. We're going to have Green Shirt Guy there. We're going to have Table After Table. We're going to have the Joe Sinnott family there with original pieces from their father/grandfather. It's going to be a marvelous time. And, of course, all the proceeds that we raise that day are going to go to Toys for Tots to help children in need in Dutchess County in New York. Thank you.
And are you going to have the Marines shoot a special calendar for you only?
They have refused every single time. Every time. Every time I suggested.
If you don't think he's asked, you're wrong.
You don't. I was going to say, yeah. Green Shirt Guy has watched me ask them. He has watched me. One time I asked one of them if we could take pictures in my bedroom choking each other. And he was like, no, dude. And like,
Yeah, you get paid for that kind of thing, eh?
I mean, I offered to pay. I was like trying to make something happen.
Right, Brad?
Yeah.
And also, guys, this show's ending, but this show's beginning. Head on over to Circumstances, FOC and Chill, and go check him out. Marcus, just a great supporter in our community. Dude that's always got our back, and we appreciate Marcus 100% over here. Always been a usual suspect, and always just a great dude. Go check out Marcus, FOC and Chill. And with that, guys, we are going to say goodbye as we do. Keep it casual.